I got some interesting stuff for you guys. This one it's a person we've covered before. This is Miia Tzu. This is Miia Tzu. Now, we've talked about Miia Tzu before. Let's talk about this post, and then we'll talk about the history of what's happened. So, Miia Tzu says, I'm done. You've all crossed the line, and I've had enough. Too bad the bad apples want to ruin it for everyone else, but I'm done showing any sign of respect to you guys. Never shown any to me for just stating how I felt. You got me all messed up, and it's a giant tittied version of her character. I think it's AI generated, ripping apart a trans flag. I'm like 99% certain this is AI generated. Sidebar, can I say this? VTubers who use AI generated, well, anything, any kind of artwork whatsoever should never, ever, ever get commissions ever again. Maybe that's just me. Maybe it's just a personal thought from me. Maybe that's an internal, terrible thought. But I genuinely think that if you're the kind of person to AI generate shit like this, then you're also the kind of person who likely doesn't value art to begin with. Just saying. Again, you want to do this shit for personal use and like fucking make a thing to whatever. I don't give a shit. But you do this as a VTuber who's trying to have a career in the VTubing space and you're posting it out there. All it tells me is that you are a person who does not care about artists. Generally. So, for those who don't know anything about Miia Tzu, let's quickly go over who she is. She's a VTuber on Twitch who was very, very involved in the Sonic the Hedgehog community. She does Sonic content. She also likes to voice a lot of her love for Sonic the Hedgehog. That's her character. Now, she's made a lot of remarks over the years that are weird and yikesy, but we're not really worried about that. Most of the understanding of who she is as a person began when she got accepted into the Sega Creator Zone. Now, this is Sega's North America Creator Zone, which is a creator partnership initiative that was done by Sega of America. For those who don't know, there's plenty of video game companies and card game companies that will have a creator program or an ambassador program for people who they want to represent them in the public. And Miia was one of the people who was chosen to be a representative for Sega. And one of the fundraising streams that she was supposed to do, apparently, was for Kaleidoscope Trust, which is an LGBTQ plus charity. Now, as soon as she got accepted, people found a lot of her transphobic remarks from the past. Zora says, I will judge you for using AI for personal use, but mostly theatrically, same as I judge people for sucking toes. Although my hatred for feet is mostly because they are anatomical crimes and not for any moral reasons. I have stories in regards to the latter thing that you mentioned that I will not say on stream. Anyway, Suris Mystery Booster Commander, when I wish. That said, we've actually done a video before going over the comments that she made in regards to trans people. A lot of her other bigoted comments, I'm not going to excuse them, but I'm only going to talk about the things that I know she has said that I have gone over myself. Now, once that information was made available to Sega dropped her from the creator program. It was a very, very, quick, she got accepted in and then immediately taken out. And then people like Straub and Rev Says Desu jumped on the bandwagon talking about this and started shouting her out because if there's anything to get famous for, I guess it's bigotry these times. They did this by framing Miia Tzu as a victim of a campaign of harassment. They argued that she was being punished for holding what are considered mainstream views. Asmongold also commented on this in general. A lot of these larger content creators started boosting her up because to them, they're like, yeah, no, being transphobic is perfectly normal. Why should you be canceled for saying mainstream views? Insofar as you've even been canceled. You got removed from a single creator program, but to say that she's ever been canceled would be a goddamn lie because she's actually been growing a lot since all of that happened in general. Jessica says, of course, fuck those losers. Yep. So, instead of trying to say that, hey, maybe I did a bad, maybe I shouldn't have done the things I did and said the things I did. She did something else. She went and made one of these videos here. Let's go ahead and pull this up. This was her YouTuber apology video. And I don't know if this is the one we went over specifically. The model looks different to the one that we went over. So this actually might be a little newer to some of you.
I don't want to be known as the drama, you know, the person that was involved in some kind of drama.
She doesn't want to be known as that person, but she does want to be this person. You don't want to be known as the drama person, but you are willing to be the person who is ripping apart a flag that represents a minority of people who have their rights stripped away in the United States bit by bit. It said, "Ah, no ukulele. How disappointing." Yep.
Oh yes, that one VTuber that was involved in this, right. Come on. I do not want to be seen as that. Obviously, is most likely too late, you know, at this point. But at the end of the day, my point is, I don't want to see people in my space, whether you, even if you agree and I catch you harassing other people, cursing at them, saying these violent things, mean things to people that you don't know online, and you're just spending all this time going online as if that's going to solve anything, to random people that you never met in your life, I will be blocking you. The same thing applies the other way around.
Behold, we are both sidesing.
Alright? Both sides. I don't care. I do not want that kind of stuff in my space. That's it. I simply want to continue making...
Remember, she doesn't want that kind of stuff in her space, which would be a perfectly acceptable thing to do and say. However, like... if you don't want to be the person who's known for that drama, then don't get involved in it like you keep doing. If you don't want people who are using bigoted language aimed at minorities, because you even mentioned people who agree with me, if you start saying violent things to them, like, if you don't want to be that person, then don't do this shit. Like, I don't think... Okay, so I have had beef with several people who are trans. Content creators and non-content creators who have gotten mad at me for various statements over the time that I've been on the internet. You know what I haven't done in any of that? I haven't gone on the internet and said, "All right, guys, you've pushed me too far. It's time for me to enter my transphobic arc." Like, that's not a thing that I've done publicly. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. It's not a thing that I've done at all. And I've received criticism for statements that I've made over the last 10 years in general. And sometimes it's valid, sometimes it's not. But I don't sit here and go, it's time for me to step on a minority. It's time for me to tell you how I really feel about insert minority here. I mean, make it black people, I guess. Like, just... whatever minority you think that you want to be hateful to, or that you're tired of pretending you're not hateful to, it's just the fucking Joker meme all over again. I'm tired of pretending I'm not. But don't worry. Your apology video, it definitely reads as genuine.
Making content for Sonic and other things. These are my streams, and if you have a problem with it, just simply stop watching, go do something else. And I hope you find other things to do that is much of a better hobby than coming here and spending your time trying to do all these things, okay?
So, I will say this. It's interesting to have the opinion of don't come into my stream and spout hatred, but also on the other end, I can just go out and spout it myself under the guise that, it's not hatred when I do it, or I don't see it as hatred. Most people who are actually racist don't see themselves as racist, and this is the way it works for almost all versions of bigotry. You generally don't see yourself as bigoted. You see yourself as somebody who sees the world for what it really is, right? It's like the person who says, "I'm not racist," But there are some black people who deserve the word N-word because they act like the N-word. That's Sargon of Akkad, by the way. And also some select members of my family. Like, you don't say that if you don't have the racist thoughts to begin with, but you can at least pretend that you don't because you got this super special exception in you. Said, if you don't like it, don't watch, will turn into, why is nobody watching me? Yeah, I'm going to give the opposite here. If you don't like me, feel free to watch me, and feel free to criticize the things that I do and the things that I say. If I think that you're arguing in good faith, cool, you might change my mind on something. If I think you're not, I might record the entire thing and turn it into content, as I have done in the past. Welcome to the stream, everybody. Said, well, to be fair, black people say that too. Chris Rock has a whole bit on it. Yeah, but that doesn't mean that you should do it. Also, Chris Rock isn't black people. Like, you can have there's a reason that the Boondocks has Uncle Ruckus as a character. You can have a person who says that thing about black people and it not be indicative of all black people. Like, that's, you see how those statements are not aligned, right? I could say something, as an example, I could say that I want a particular country to be bombed, and then I can follow up that statement with VTubers believe that this particular country should be bombed off the face of the planet. And it would be the same statement you just made with the exact same justification. Anyway, back to the pink-haired bigot.
Thank you. That's all. And I will not be talking about this from now on, please. I simply want to continue moving forward.
She wants to continue moving forward. Kinda like this. I'm sorry. Like, is this the moving forward? Is this what it is? You don't want to talk about these drama issues anymore. You don't want to talk about these things that hurt you or got you removed from the creator program. You don't want to talk about them anymore. But you know what? You got pushed too far. You gotta talk about them now. It's actually the fault of the bad apple trans people who did it. I'm gonna let you know right now, there's some shitty fucking trans people. There are some absolutely disgustingly bigoted fucking trans people who have audiences who will make the lives of other people, trans or not, worse simply by existing on the internet. Blair White. Like, that does not mean that I'm gonna grab a trans flag and just start ripping it up and like, Blair White made me do this. Now it's time for me to dunk on all of you. Take that, ContraPoints. Fucking hell. The worst we do is make handcrafted porn. At least that porn's handcrafted and not fucking AI generated. Again, I don't know if it's AI generated, but I feel like it is. It feels like it probably is. And maybe it's not. If it's not, then correct me. But it's not what I see here. Then you wonder why I jokingly called you daddy. How does that have anything to do with me and that word? I will continue sounding like Iago from Aladdin. But I should get into pottery and make a Suris dildo. All right. We're done. We're done. No more of that shit. None. This says, won't it break if you use it? Only if you bend it the wrong way. Said, Sir AI stopped working. Fucking hell. It said, Suris, have you seen my art? Which one? I'll get to it eventually. I always do. It'll just take me a little bit. Fucking hell. That every group have people who are problematic? Yeah. VTubers have me. Atheists have me. I'm the problematic one. I'm the one that causes issues. And of course, the perspective on this, largely from people who are in favor of Miia, is that because she's not part of the, quote, trans cult, then they're going to keep that, like, that's why she's being harassed. But realistically, it's you punching down at trans people and trans people responding. Like, you don't get to just do that kind of punching down without the minority group that you're punching down at responding to you at all. Zora says, I have to draw Suris in Redacted, but I'm also trying to set up a backlog for Kinktober, and I want to draw Hex Maniac and Beast Midna. Said Suris, Sargon is right there. Oh my fucking god. My fucking god. Speed of Legend of Zelda, you need to draw. I don't know what to draw, though. Did you have free speech, but you're not free from the consequences of the speech? Yep. So, there is another side to this that I want to illuminate, though. And it's just out of curiosity, what happens if she does change? So, on the one hand, I want to dunk on Miia because this is exactly the kind of behavior that a bigot would do, as they claim that they are not a bigot. However, I also want to know, what does change look like for Miia? If she actually were to improve, if she actually were to get to the point where she is no longer spouting bigoted beliefs, then what would happen? Would she lose the audience of chuds that she's created? Would she start advocating in favor of trans issues? Or would it just look like her silently not talking about it ever again and trying to pretend that that's a part of her life that doesn't exist anymore? Leading everybody to believe that she just is snapshotted in that version of her beliefs. I don't know. I was lucky enough that a lot of my internal change as a person on issues like this happened offline. I didn't spout stupid shit into the internet, despite the fact that I was spouting shit into the internet all the time, and then have to eventually walk it back and eventually become better publicly. A lot of it happened internally. A lot of it happened offline. Orla says, her publicly saying she endorses porn with her, and I, with a transgender person with an apology, might do it. I don't think that the porn part would do anything other than just, like, get the internet really horny, but I don't know. That's the other thing that concerns me, because with a lot of the figures on the internet, I'm curious as to what it would take for people to truly believe that they have improved or changed. Let me know in the comments section below what would make you think that she has improved or changed. Because from my perspective, I'm coming up on a blank. Not that I can't conceive of something that she could do that would say that she's actually going to improve. I can conceive of a lot of ways that can happen. But it would need to be a version of reality where she's changing, and also at the same time, where people are accepting that change around her. So there's so few examples of this that I could find for you, one of them being Hunter Avalon, who changed his political beliefs and then stuck with those political beliefs even to his own financial detriment. Dorito says a massive donation to a trans-focused charity. I don't think that would work, because that was the defense that Poppy tried to use back when people figured out how much of a bigot that he was in the VTuber community. Like, that's the same thing that happened there, because he had been running charities for them up to that point. But people can see right through that. Also, yes, Orla, I see what you did there. Arara, you fucking degen. It kind of reminds me weirdly of the Hot Diggity Demon stuff, because he's just on the mind because he tried to get What? Reminds me weirdly of the Hot Diggity Demon stuff, weirdly enough, but he's just on the mind because he tried to get... Oh, right. He tried to get assisted suicide. Yeah, I remember that. Thank you for the hydrate, Dorito. I know, you do not make me drip. In fact, actually, you make the ACs drip, though, because they weren't installed before you got here. Jessica says, hey, I don't know if this is true, but I'm hearing that McConnell got discharged from the hospital. Look, at his age, he's very prone to discharge. He does it a lot, actually, at this point. Oh, you meant something else. Sorry. Neat. They discharged a corpse from a hospital. That's so cool. Maria says, what about the AC? Just the AC's working. Like, that's all. That's it. That's all it was. I was saying they drip, but in the sense that they have a cooling line that they are supposed to drip through. That was the joke, Dorito. Said, oh, fuck, had me worried. No, everything's fine. Everything's fine. Morbid Corpse says, what's this button do? I don't know what button you're talking about, but I'm scared. Oh, it's the one that makes me go, oh, whoa. You're on the right side of history, but the wrong side of my time. That said, that's all I got on the Miia Tzu issue. I didn't want to just go, haha, here she is doing another stupid thing. I wanted to also plant the idea in your mind of what it would look like if she actually were to improve and she actually were to change. Because what I want is not for somebody with her audience to leave the internet. What I want is for somebody with her audience to recognize the harm that they have caused and actually start reversing that harm. And then Spooky Moth then decides to bring a lot more harm with 82,369 channel points. The fucking wow! Maybe I should actually say it the way you want me to. There! That ends the video. Let me know what you would want to see in a creator that's actually changing, because that may be the kind of thing that you need internally to think about anywho. Hey, you made it to the end. I want to give an extra thanks to the patrons who allow me to do this full time. I want to thank Aaron Rail, Astral, Britzkrieg, Jemshin, Poundini, Red Joker, Victoria, Jonas, Craig, Tarika, Fireshard, Smiling GM, John, Dren Hadamada, Creeper, Sagitta, you know I'm not saying that last part, Sylvie Snow, Valis of Seraph, Ottoman Angel, Rooster Rachel, and Fire Panda, who are all my $20 and up patrons.